the time that I was teaching winter survival, I used to go, and I was always had cold feet. I was wearing pack boots. My feet were always cold. It's 20 below zero. I'm on a dog sled. I'm working with students and my feet are cold. And I would say to Will, isn't there something warmer, something better? I can't stay warm. And he showed me a pair of old mukluks that he had gotten in the Arctic years ago, and I couldn't believe that what he was showing me could be that warm. So when we went on expedition in 82 and 83, I wore my first pair of mukluks. I couldn't believe it. It was like 50 below zero at times, and I never had cold feet. I'm a designer. I need to know why things work, how they work, what materials work best. All of those things are very important to me. Will Steger started coming to my house in Wisconsin, and we started dating shortly after that. In 1978, I came to Ely for just the winter. He had a school at that time called Lynx Track Winter Travel, where they taught winter survival. And so I jumped in and learned how to be a winter survival instructor. So I did that for a few years. I moved up permanently in 1980 that summer. And in 1982 and 83, I went on my first expedition. We went to northern Canada into the high Arctic and Ellesmere Island. It was called the Steger-Mantel Expedition. Not many people know about it, but I was gone for 9 months. So when I started making the mukluks, the first ones I ever made were for my kids. Because the boys, my sons were 8 and 10 at the time. And so I came back from the Arctic and I made them handmade, hand-sewn slippers that were basically mukluks, because at the point where I was wearing them, they didn't have any soles on them, and that was the big problem. Mukluks are really utilitarian until you want to go to town. So the idea of putting a sole on a mukluk was the whole game to me. So I worked really hard and created patterns. I'd measure people's feet. It was a long process, but in the beginning, because I didn't have any money, people would bring me leather and I would draw their feet, and I would do, I literally was making patterns from different people's feet in town. And I would use their leather and make them mukluks, hand-sewn, all hand-sewn. Except for the tops, because I could do those I had a sewing machine, I could do those on a sewing machine. So that's how Steger Mukluks started. It just grew from there. In the beginning, when I was first making these boots, it was all word of mouth, because I literally didn't have money when I started. So word of mouth was a big thing. And then as the company grew, of course, we started a website in '96, which is, 11 years after I actually started making the boots. But in '96, there weren't that many people that had websites, and we've improved the quality of the boots over the years. Every time I could improve the quality I have between materials and the sewing processes and everything that we do. If we can find a better way to make them, we do. In the beginning, I would make these very plain boots, and the women were coming into the store and they were saying, can't you make us something more fashion forward? So they wanted something pretty. So then I started making more of the fashion boots that you see on my website. And that was really important, because about 75% of my sales go to women. And it's not because men don't buy my boots, because the big outdoor guys all have my boots that I know. It took a while to get it to where it is today. And I've been through a couple of incarnations of soles. And the soles we make now are extremely high quality. They're actually all made of the same material that I've always used, but it's how I'm constructing stuff now. If I can figure out a better way to make Mukluks, I will do it. I've always done that. And we're in our 40th year of doing this. 40 years is hard to believe it's been that long. That's been 40 years I've been doing this. When I learned how to make mukluks, it never occurred to me that I could make a business out of it. I thought I initially made them just for my family. They were the only thing that kept my feet warm. Yeah, this company is part of my legacy. I think being one of the only women to ever have a dog sled of the Arctic, that's part of my legacy. All of the things that I did with Will, working on the big expeditions, getting to travel a lot of the world because of that. But for the overall legacy, this company, these boots, this footwear is what my legacy is all about.